What stands out to you about how Nyes has started the year?
You know, I said at the beginning of the year I was excited to see, really excited to see Nyes. He just looked, those exhibitions before this season. He just looked like he was coming in with a lot of confidence, and he's brought that into the games. Brought intensity. He's using his body really well. So, it's been exciting to see his development over just 1 year.
The more physically he plays, the possibility for fights. Like, is that what you guys are chatting with about at the end of practice there?
We were just kind of talking about it a little bit.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, how fearsome could he be in that sscenario? And it's not going to be his bread and butter, but...
Yeah, he's a strong kid, so I'm sure he'd be able to handle himself anytime the situation came. But, he's a brick, whatever, house, whatever you want to say. Can't say it on TV, sorry.
He was a big guy when he broke in the league. He said he put on a lot of muscle in the offseason. Did you notice just how much bigger and stronger he looks than last year?
Last year he looked pretty solid too. He said he wanted to lose weight, and I was like, no, I wouldn't do that. Just how powerful he is when he's skating, and it's hard for guys to handle him down low. You can see when he has the puck, it's hard to get it off of him. So I think he's at a real good weight for himself right now.
How similar do you find Tavares and Pacioretty are? You've been teammates with both of them. Like, are they similar?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I do compare them once in a while, actually. So yeah, they're on and off the ice a little bit.
How are they similar?
Very stuck in their ways. They just have their things that they like, and then that's okay. They have their routines, and yeah.
Is Max? Like, I feel like John is the most in kind of in his ways in terms of how he approaches things. How close is Max to that?
Pretty close, but I think some of the best players in the world are, because they get to a certain point in their career where they're that good, and you stick with what works. So I think they've earned the right to be like that.
And what did you like about that line the other night?
Well, that they were scoring a lot of goals. They looked good. They were on the forecheck. They were in front of the net. Obviously put a couple in, but they can control the play a lot.
What's the competition like at the bottom of the lineup? It feels like everyone is kind of rotating out at some point here. Like, what's that do for the internal competition on the team?
Yeah, it's good. If you have that many able bodies that can contribute, it's good for the team, and keeping guys fresh is important too. So it's a good problem to have.
Pacioretty's been around for a long time. What's something you learned about him so far this year that maybe you didn't know before?
Well, I think Pacioretty's been known as plays a power forward type of game. Obviously, skates real well, very heavy on the puck, forechecks extremely well. Obviously, a great shot, can really rip it, but his playmaking ability and hockey sense is really, really good. Just great awareness out there with and without the puck, putting himself in good spots, and obviously making plays when they're there, and reading coverage and understanding when opportunities present themselves and finding open ice. So made some great plays the other night. So it's been a lot of fun playing with him to start the year, and has been made a great impact for us here. So and just his leadership and his experience and what he brings every day in the locker room, and how he goes about taking care of himself and preparing, all those things go a long way, I think, in making an impact on the team.
Reaves was saying he feels like you guys are pretty similar on and off the ice. He described it as stuck in your ways, but do you find him as a bit of a kindred spirit in terms of the off-ice stuff?
Yeah, and I think just real knowledgeable. I think always looking to learn and get better and find different things that can help you continue to evolve and improve. And as some things always stay the same, but obviously a lot changes, and different things you go through throughout your career, and that you learn, that you experience, that you just gain knowledge and understanding of, that just handle things differently, or understand things that have always kind of been really, really solid, that that are important, foundation pieces for how you play or how you work on things. So he's very knowledgeable, very aware of those things, and taking that all in and applying it to his day-to-day.
You mentioned post-game the other night that you'd like to clean up some things on the power play. Like, where do you feel like you can elevate on the man advantage?
Yeah, I think just being good with your touches, specifically on entries, just being on the opposite side there is a little bit different. So something that I'm very comfortable with, and something that I think I'm very strong at. But obviously been on the other side on a lot of the entries over the last number of years. So just being being a little better there, and just making sure that you put yourself in a good spot to execute and give ourselves a real good opportunity to get set up and create momentum and be in their zone and be able to put them on their heels and create opportunities. So just executing.
He says he considers you like a role model and kind of follows you around there with the extra work. What sort of growth have you seen in him this year?
Yeah, I think you just see, he's just got such an amazing skill set. I think potential is so high, and very unique to have someone so young that's so physically mature, but also has the finesse to his game and his ability to create space in tight areas, soft hands in those tight areas, in and around the net. You can just see, I think, the belief in himself and the understanding of just the day-to-day, the game-to-game, shift to shift, playing in the league and certainly playing with Austin and Mitchie and the matchups that you're going to get and the challenges those present, just how well he's adapting to that and how consistent he's becoming. So obviously a major part of our lineup, and great to see the growth in him.
Is it easy to forget how young he is when you see him on the ice? He seems like a pretty mature guy off the ice.
Yeah, I mean, he's got his moments off the ice, that's for sure. But he's a big part of the locker room too. I think his youthfulness, his energy, sometimes a bit naive on a few things that I think works in his favor, but something we get a good chuckle at from time to time. Certainly, like I said, his potential is so high, and he's just scratching the surface. And the way he works on things, and I think is very aware, like you guys are saying, in and around the room, different guys and different things, and the areas of growth that he's looking to have. It's been awesome for our team and awesome for him. So it's great to see, and obviously still a lot more ahead.
What's he naive about?
I don't know. It's when we live together, just sometimes we're sitting there having breakfast and he's just scrolling on his phone and just totally misses some of the conversations we're having, and we think he's listening, but he's not always quite there. So he's also very aware at the same time, so it's kind of funny that way. But my boys in particular love him, always asking how nice he's doing and when he's coming back over to come hang out. So we miss him over at my household, but it gives us a good chuckle from the time to time in here. And like I said, a big part of our locker room, I think, not just about his play, but I think his presence and that youthfulness and just what his potential is.
Coming out of the lineup, you had a good run there. Was it a surprise? How did you process it?
I mean, it is what it is. I mean, again, I don't know. I just, I don't know if surprised or not. I just, go with it. I'm not, it doesn't take anything personal. I just got to work hard. And again, there's other guys that are not playing that, should be playing. So it's just part of the deal, and it's my job to work hard.
How have you assessed your start to the season?
I thought, it's been fine. I mean, I think I've had some good games, some okay games. But obviously, puck luck hasn't really been there at the start. Puck's bobbing out on my stick. Puck's not going in, but I'm sure they'll turn around. And I just focus on the things. I'm still confident in my game. I'm still, happy with some of it. Obviously, got to clean up a few areas and just go with it.
Talking the preseason about just focusing on things you can control. Is that kind of the mindset that really applies here now?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not really, beating myself about it. I know that I'm going to get another opportunity whenever that is, and it's my job to execute. I think for me, the biggest thing is to execute. Obviously, sometimes luck doesn't go your way, but it's my job in practice, and every rep I get to execute.
Craig had mentioned that it was a bigger team in Winnipeg. That's one of the reasons he wanted a bigger lineup. Just where are you at when it comes to facing down bigger guys and trying to be successful in that situation?
I'm not really fazed by it. That's his decision on Winnipeg. I'm not scared at all about how big or whatever. I'm obviously not the biggest guy in the room, but I think I play bigger than what I'm at. So I still want to work on winning battles and doing things that bigger guys can do well. Obviously, for me, it's a challenge being smaller, but it's my job to execute in that area.
What are you thinking about when you're out there alone, well after practice ends?
Execute. I think for me the biggest thing is execute. And again, like I said, every rep, everything in practice, I try to score. I try to make sure pucks are on tapes and everything. And it's going to go in. I think it's just being positive and not trying to beat myself up about how the 9 games have gone. Just to worry about what I can control in practice and focusing on the day that I'm in.
Reaves was saying he feels like you guys are kind of similar off the ice. He described it as stuck in your ways. Do you feel like a kindred spirit maybe a little bit with him? Do you feel like you guys are similar?
Yeah, I felt like I was always a little bit of out there with things I like to do and keeping a routine and trying to feel as good as I can out there. And then I came in and he's probably got a little bit even more tendencies than I do of whether it's part of a warm-up or a routine, I guess you call it. But he's dialed in, and I've learned a lot from him already in the short time I've been here, and I love stuff like that.
What's something you've learned or maybe even stolen from him?
Well, I'm skating with the guy that helped him out a lot, two of them. So we've talked about it before, the opportunity here to work on your game and kind of how skating's evolved since him and I came in the league. Everything I'm learning right now is completely against and everything that I grew up learning in terms of skating, and I knew about it a little bit, but Johnny opened up my eyes to it big time.
So that's Paul and Patrick
Yeah.
you've been working with a lot?
Yeah.
Well, on the skating side, like how has it changed? Like how different?
Well, it's a quicker game now, and I think everyone used to talk about long, powerful strides, and now it's more of keeping your feet under your body and quick feet and staying on top of the ice, and look no further than 88. He's probably the master at that.
For you, different roles this season, the physicality side. I mean, you've always been physical down low, but like, do you feel like it's ratcheted up a bit? Do you like that?
Yeah, I do. It's an area of my game that's kind of always been there, and sometimes, been told by coaches or whatnot to dial it down a little bit, but, because obviously it takes away at other areas of the game, but I just feel that where I fit in with this team, being physical is probably one of the biggest areas that I can help this team, especially up the lineup, and looking to do that as much as I can. I've gotten a little bit better at it down low, but I still think I can be, when I have the puck, be a little bit more violent and create a little bit more time and space.
Maybe you learned about Matthew Nyes' strength.
Well, I knew he was big, but he's really big, especially at a younger age. To be physically mature like that is rare, and he's a smart player that plays in all situations, which is also rare for a young player. So I think when you have those areas covered, you can kind of be a little bit more free and work at all the other areas of the game. And from what guys have been saying, he's been doing that, and he's every night he's a dangerous player and big part of this team.
What did you like about the Tavares line the other night? What allowed them to have so much success?
I thought they were heavy on the puck. I mean, I think that's the biggest thing for me is all three of them were heavy on pucks, won puck battles, and went to the net and scored. All three goals were right around the net. So they were very good.
Tavares keeps fending off Father Time. Being around him, what stands out about his ability to kind of stay ahead of that?
Professionalism, work ethic. He's constantly working on his game and very takes care of everything. What he needs, and he's got great focus.
Are you hoping to build some competition between the power play units that you have now?
Well, yeah, a little bit maybe, but it's more about just trying to find some chemistry with the power play. I think though, like I go back to looking at it and the opportunities we had. Our shooting percentage is very low on the power play, and if it's up a bit, that makes a huge difference, right? We're getting grade A's like I talked about, but they're not going in. But in the end, it wasn't working, so I mixed it up. That's really all it boils down to. I'm not looking for much more than that.
You mentioned the numbers game. Is it difficult for maybe some of the guys who are on the outside looking in to kind of get the practice time, because there just really hasn't been a lot of practices to kind of show that?
Yeah, it's always a little bit of a concern and issue, and we try to give the guys as much as we can, on day of games and things like that, so they can stay sharp.
How do you coach discipline, like the penalties that
Yeah,
are
the
happening right
penalties.
now? How do you address?
Well, it's addressed. You can sit guys shifts, which I have. There's lots of things, but it's not from. The penalties aren't from just a guy going off page and going to take a penalty. It's managing, being aggressive with your stick and doing things right. Like, I get there's penalties that are not important, but you can deal with it when there's a scoring opportunity and somebody has to make a desperate play. He maybe has to take a penalty, but we've taken I think 3, maybe 4 penalties in the offensive zone. And to me, those are the ones that bother me the most. I mean, they're 200 feet from our net. I mean, we got to be smarter than that. And then in the third period too, we took one in Boston in the offensive zone in the third period. Then in Winnipeg, we took 2 in the third, I believe, and really they weren't necessary. There was no danger anywhere, and we just got to be better.
Is that just coaching that out, or is it just kind of showing where they can kind of approach it?
Coaching it out, and looking at it obviously too, but coaching it out, and again, just making guys aware of it, and if they, obviously got to do something if they keep doing it.
What do you see in the Seattle Griffins coming out?
Well, they're a quick team, right? Play a fast game. I think right from their first year, I thought they were a difficult team to play against with their transition game and their quickness. They got a lot of speed and they do things quick. So we're going to have to be ready and on our toes and making sure we're, managing the puck against this team. That'll be really important, and getting above their speed.
Does Knies remind you of anyone you've coached before, or do you see someone in the league right now who would be a good role model for him? He's so young and he seems to, the high ceiling.
Yeah, I look at guys like, big guys, Keith Tkachuk and Guerin and these guys back in the day that were power forwards, John LeClaire type, those types of guys that I've been around and played with and played against for a number of years, where you're a heavy guy, you're a good forechecker, and then you're around the net all the time. And he's doing a very good job of that. He can skate extremely well. He's very powerful, and he plays north, and he's doing a good job of getting to the net and with those guys. He lets them do their thing, and he's around that net.
You had Robertson kind of rotating with that camp line today. Could he play that sort of role at some point, or is he a guy that you feel like has to be more in a scoring role if he's in the lineup?
Well, it's a little of both, but I do believe he can. We had him out there penalty killing today because I do think that he can be a penalty killer for us with his speed and his tenacity, and it's something I want to keep working with him and him to keep building, because that could be a very good thing to have, and a little bit more of a role for him that way too. That's not taken away from his scoring ability or anything like that, but it's just another part of his game that can grow.